Our artists today are two who you would never pair at first glance. Indian movies often have very clear depictions of heroes and villains. Piyush Mishra lands somewhere in between. As an actor, music director, lyricist, singer, and scriptwriter, Mishra easily paints ironic murals of Indian youth and politics. Calling Akala a rapper is an insufficient term. Hailed from a world where violent autobiographies are not just cliché, but more so a reality, Akala found a way to transcend a space where privileges were decided by the color of your skin. He found a way to fight the system through education and intellect. I'm Monica Dogra, singer, songwriter, and one half of electro-rock act Shire and Funk. Join me as we travel far and wide to bring you stories, moments, and songs that remind us time and again that some things are just worth doing. Welcome to the Dewarists. The Andaman Islands seems straight out of a fantasy for many reasons. Maybe it's the highly saturated colors of the waters that surround the 200 islands. The islands seem to wait for you to discover them in all their mysterious, organic glory. The peace here seems to be an eternal calm before the storm, as if it inspires us to create something that will stay forever suspended in beauty and perfection.
And the interesting thing about this specific view, this exact scene, is on the 20 rupee note. I'm here to witness two incredible voices who don't speak the same language, find common ground, and write a song that'll move people across the globe.
The Andaman Islands holds a special significance for our first collaborator, Piyush Mishra. He delivers his jibes, politically and socially tempered, tailored in rhyme and song to beguile its sharp message. He sings and writes about Indian revolutionaries, a number of whom were once imprisoned here in the islands. If the island could call its own, Mishra would be first in line.
Mid-60s में पैदा हुआ मैं. Father retired as an upper middle class clerk. Mother was a housewife. तो everybody loves his birthplace. तो मुझे भी उतना ही लगाव जितना होना चाहिए था. लेकिन उसके बाद में फिर मुझे लगा कि मुझे कुछ और चाहिए. मैं सच बोलूं तो पानी चाहिए, बेईमानी चाहिए, इंसान समंदर अपना खोल दो. खोजबीन शुरू से जारी रही है. किस चीज़ की मुझे मालूम नहीं. तो हमेशा जो है कुछ ना कुछ चीज़ एक्सप्लोर करने की, और जिसके लिए मैं अपने आप को बहुत कंफ्यूज आदमी कहता हूँ कि इस कन्फ्यूजन ने जो है बहुत सारी चीज़ों को एक्सप्लोर करने में मदद की. तो इवेंचुअली मुझे लगा कि ग्वालियर छोड़ना चाहिए. क्यों छोड़ना चाहिए? क्योंकि यहाँ पर चैन नहीं मिल रहा. चैन क्यों नहीं मिल रहा? क्योंकि जो मैं करना चाह रहा था वो नहीं हो पा रहा था. 8th क्लास में मैंने एक पोट्री लिखी थी. क्या जिंदा हो हाँ तुम, कोई शक नहीं, सांस लेते हुए देखा मैंने भी है, हाथ और पैरों और जिस्म को हरकतें खूब देते हुए देखा मैंने भी है. अब मेरे पिताजी को समझ नहीं आई. इनफैक्ट एक दो बंदों के अलावा किसी को भी समझ नहीं आई. मुझे लगा कि मैंने अच्छी लिख दी. उस वक्त तो बेहद गुस्सा था. पेरेंट्स के लिए, अपने आसपास के माहौल के लिए, पूरे ग्वालियर की जात बिरादरी के लिए मुझे लगा था कि मैं यहाँ क्यों खामखा पैदा हो गया।
झीनी वानी चाहिए, कुछ बूंदे इंसानी चाहिए, इंसान समंदर अपना खोल दो। एक झीनी वानी चाहिए, कुछ बूंदे इंसानी चाहिए, इंसान समंदर अपना खोल दो।
NSD में हमारे ग्वालियर से गए थे तीन चार बंदे। उसके बाद मैंने सोचा कि यार ये जगह ऐसी है जहाँ जाया जा सकता है, इसलिए नहीं कि दैट इज़ माई गोल या टारगेट, क्योंकि अपनी काबिलियत के हिसाब से जो है मुझे कहीं और जगह मिलेगी नहीं, और कोई भी डिपार्टमेंट ज़िंदगी का मुझे एक्सेप्ट नहीं करेगा। मशरक़ी हूर करके हमारे BM शाह साहब आज नहीं हैं वो दुनिया में, उन्होंने प्ले करवाया था, तो उसमें मैंने म्यूज़िक कंपोज किया, बहुत तारीफ़ मिली, लेकिन लगा नहीं कि कभी मैं इसको कर पाऊँगा। मुझे लगा कि मैं एक्टर बनने के लिए आया हूँ, और सॉन्ग्स वगैरह लिखे ऐसे ही, रिकॉग्निशन जो है जो वो बहुत बाद में मिला।
एक भोली सी बेईमानी चाहिए, एक चीटों की नादानी चाहिए, एक भोली बेईमानी चाहिए, इंसान समंदर अपना खोल दो। भीगे लफ्जों के मानी चाहिए, कुछ बूंदे दीवानी चाहिए, इंसान समंदर।
वहाँ से निकलने के बाद मैं फिर जो है दुनिया में था, NSD का साया उठ गया था। 90 में एक्टिंग शुरू हुआ, उस वक्त जो है लिरिक्स का म्यूज़िक का चलन शुरू हुआ, और उस वक्त तो दिमाग में तूफान था यार। हमारा एक प्रोग्राम था उस वक्त, हमारे दौर में स्ट्रीट सॉन्ग्स का, बड़ा ख़तरनाक सॉन्ग्स थे, बहुत ही वोल्केनिक सॉन्ग्स थे, जहाँ जाया करते थे वहाँ तहलका मच जाया करता था। हम सर उठा के चल दिए, किसी ने स्पॉन्सर नहीं किया था, सर उठा के चल दिए। अमृतसर में गाने गाए, लुधियाने में गाने गाए, क्यों गाए आज तक नहीं मालूम पड़ा। तो ऐसा उन्माद था कि हाँ यार विरोध करो, क्या मतलब है। हासिल खाली ये हुआ कि यार इसमें गुंजाइश दिखती है कि इसमें जो है जो लॉन्ग सीकिंग स्टेबिलिटी है उसकी थोड़ी सी भरपाई होती नज़र आ रही थी, थोड़ी सी।
मैं सच बोलूं तो पानी चाहिए, पानी चाहिए, इंसान समंदर अपना खोल दो। कोई झीनी वानी चाहिए, कुछ बुरी इंसानी चाहिए, इंसान समंदर अपना खोल दो।
इनिशियल फेज़ जो है शादी का बड़ा हसीन होता है, हर बंदे का, लेकिन वो भी मैं एंजॉय नहीं कर पाया। तो उस वक्त जो है लोगों के घर में सोलो परफॉर्मेंस करना कि 11 रुपए दो, तुम्हारे टेरेस पे कर देंगे। दोस्त बहुत थे मेरे, तो उसमें ये बेचारी अपना साउंड ऑपरेट करती थी 2 in 1 से। तो ऐसे ही चलता रहा। एक बार किया गया कर्म बिना अपना फल दिए नष्ट नहीं होता, एंड आई बिलीव इट, डंके की चोट पर बिलीव करता हूँ। 2001 में इनका न्योता आया राजकुमार संतोषी का, लेजेंड भगत सिंह लिखने का। पहले भी गया था बॉम्बे कई कारणों से, लेकिन 5-6 महीने तक कभी नहीं रहा था।
इंसान समंदर अपना खोल दो, इंसान समंदर अपना खोल दो।
फिर 2002 में जो है मैं ऑफिशियली शिफ्ट हो गया, लेकिन वहाँ पर यू हैव टू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द स्क्रैच, और स्क्रैच से भी स्टार्ट करने देने रहे थे लोग बाग। आपने तो इतना काम किया है, आपको हम कैसे काम दे दें। अरे मैं कहता यार मुझे काम चाहिए। अरे नहीं पीयूष भाई, आप तो बहुत बड़ा एक्टर हो और बहुत बड़े म्यूजिक। अरे मैं कह मुझे काम दें, ऐसा काम दो जिसमें कि पैसे मिले। धीमे धीमे गुलाल का म्यूज़िक हुआ, 2002 में पूरा हो गया था म्यूज़िक। रिलीज़ 2009 में हुई। अनुराग से जो संबंध थे वो अलग हैं थोड़े से। उसने ये गुलाल में जो है आपके पहली बार उन्होंने कहा सब कुछ करो आप पीयूष भाई। गुलाल में जो लिरिक्स भी, म्यूज़िक भी, सिंगिंग भी, एक्टिंग भी, अपने डायलॉग्स को इम्प्रोवाइज करने का मौका दिया।
और बिस्मिल काशवाते आज तुम हिंदुस्तान देखते कि मुल्क सारा ये टशन में थ्रिल में है।
लफ्ज़ हैं जो कि बड़े वॉल्केनिक, आरंभ है प्रचंड बोले मस्तकों को झुंड, आज जंग की घड़ी की तुम गुहार दो। शब्दों का वजन मुझे मालूम है कि कौन सा शब्द कहाँ लगेगा, कितना तड़ाक से लगेगा। पन का थोड़ा अनुमान है कि भाई पन कैसे क्रिएट होता है, किन लफ्ज़ों से क्रिएट होता है, कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ द सेंटेंसेस, कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ द वर्ड्स। तो यही करके है। बाकी आँख नाक कान खुले रखे हैं ज़िंदगी में, जो कुछ भी सामने से गुजरा है उसको देखा है। नथिंग स्पेशल अबाउट माई लिरिक्स और म्यूज़िक कि लोग जो जिनका सवाल रहता है कि आप कैसे लिखते हैं, इसका एक ही जवाब हो सकता है कि भाई वो जानता है मैं कैसे लिखता हूँ। आई डोंट नो। ऐसा नहीं गुस्सा मेरा ख़त्म हो गया, बचा हुआ है, लेकिन अभी फिर भी कंट्रोल्ड है काफ़ी, कि इतनी एंग्स्ट में ज़िंदगी बिताई है, पूरा फ्रस्ट्रेशन में कि मैं ये कर दूंगा और वो कर दूंगा और तहलका मचा दूंगा और ख़त्म कर दूंगा। तो अभी की ज़िंदगी आई थिंक आई एम पासिंग थ्रू द बेस्ट फेज ऑफ माई लाइफ। ये इस तरह का फेज दिमागी तौर पर जो मैं चाह रहा था वो मिल रहा है, आज तो है और उम्मीद है कि कल भी रहेगा, लेकिन द गिल्ट ऑफ यस्टरडे एंड द फियर ऑफ टुमारो वो थोड़ा धीमे कम होना शुरू हुआ है, तो दिमाग में थोड़ा सा संतुलन है।
Akala's music speaks for itself. His poetry is simple, strong, evocative, and leaves you feeling uncomfortable once you let his words sink in. The UK-based rapper is our second collaborator.
Apparently I'm second generation, black Caribbean and half white Scottish, whatever that means. See, lately I feel confused with the boxes, because to me all they do is breed conflict. My mum is Scottish, my dad is Jamaican, of Jamaican origin. Things didn't work out between my mum and my dad, and my mum moved to London, where I grew up. We didn't have too much money. By British standards, we were what you'd call poor. So you can live on one street, and then the next street, people have Porsches and Ferraris. The next street in that way is what we call council estates, which is our equivalent of a slum. To feel good about mine, it's all about crime, the humanizing, how I justify them, so I must keep lying about the history of Africa. Even in the early 80s, when I was born, black people weren't really allowed to go to a lot of the clubs in England. So they used to organize their own party called shebeens. All my mum's friends being in the house, all these adults and me, and all my younger cousins being upstairs in a bedroom told we have to go to sleep and keep sneaking down the stairs and peeking through the door and, you know, hearing some of the reggae music. So this music was just an entrenched part of my culture, particularly Caribbean music, reggae music, also African-American soul music, blues, jazz, this kind of stuff. This music doesn't even feel like music to me, it just feels like a part of the cells of my body. So from the earliest time I can remember, music's been just a part of my existence. The working class keep them uneducated. Truly educated men can never be a racist. Educate is to draw out what is within. Are we not all the same under the skin? I got a heart like yours that pumps blood and oxygen. And insecurities, a whole lot of them. I'm scared like you deep down. I really do care that the world's not fair like you. But don't even believe my own prayers like you. Chasing career, going nowhere like you. Lost in the fog of my own insecurity. Hold myself up as an image of purity. My upbringing was an upbringing of contradictions. Positive, negatives, goods, bads, like anyone else in the world. There's a very much a perception in England that young African Caribbean boys are criminals and gangsters and rappers and good for nothing. So no matter how intelligent you are, from very young, you have to fight this stereotype with a lot of the teachers. When I was like 6 or 7, they put me in a special needs class for kids that don't speak English. They try to hold you back because the teachers are very scared of you. As a reaction to this institutionalized racism, the community set up schools on Saturdays for young boys particularly, but generally, to teach them knowledge of self, to teach them consciousness, to teach them mathematics and science on top of what the schools were failing to do. I went to one of these as a kid, so it gave me a certain self-confidence. Because of my experience in school, it made me not want to go to college or to university. And since then, I've just pursued my own studies. I used to play football when I was younger. That sort of helped keep me disciplined and keep me focused. And so that really also is a way to release anger, is a way to release stress, a way to keep you off the streets. But it wasn't my chosen career path. I always loved music the most. Music was, deep down, was just the thing that resonated most with my soul. That they got me feeling the next time you see what you think is a thug and despise him. Please know, I am just like him, cause I was like 8 first time I saw crack. Same time I first smoked weed, choking on blowbacks. First time I saw knives penetrate flesh, meat cleavers to the back of the head. 1997, I was 13, and an album called Wu-Tang Forever came out. And this album is definitely one of the reasons I even write rap lyrics today. here were these guys from Park Hill Projects in Staten Island, you know, one of the worst neighborhoods in New York. Many of them had been shot, many of them had been to prison, many of them had been through all the typical rap things, but they didn't seem to feel the need to sell themselves off of that. They were coming using words like benevolent, you know, or saying things like, behold the bold soldier, control the globe slowly. You know, just poetry. More than any other rap group, Wu-Tang made it sexy to be intelligent. They were from the ghetto, but they had an entitlement to knowledge. And to me, that was just revolutionary. And that's the point at which I really started to, every day, writing lyrics.
And as I grew, and teenage years passed, many more knives pierced and the shots blast. And I ain't saying I had the worst upbringing, but there's a million young men just like me in prison. We complain about racism, elevate clowns with their trousers down, swinging their dick round. Maybe that is not quite literal, but everything they do is just a stereotypical. Fans, I feel your pain and I get the messages, but don't complain that we ain't got more fame. We're playing our part, they can keep the charts, all I want is your hearts, they can...
So the Hip Hop Shakespeare Company is a company that I launched in 2009, which is a theatre production or music production and theatre and education company that aims at exploring the cultural, social and linguistic parallels between the works of William Shakespeare and modern day hip hop. So we're an independent company, you know. I've released all my music myself because I wanted to do it this particular way. I was lucky enough to find partners to do that with. The internet generally has made this easier than ever before. There's not even a reason really to be on a record label anymore unless you want to be a pop star, which is not my thing. I want to make the music I want to make. I don't want no record label telling me you can't talk about this or you can't talk about that. I want to do things my way. I want to say what I want to say.
It's the whole world, this elite stupidity that will choke us all to death, quite literally. And I can talk with my comfortable mouth, comfortable clothes, comfortable house. The tables will turn, we can but stall them. Every empire on this earth has fallen. So unless we can find another way, maybe not today, but it'll come one day. And it may sound like I'm bitter.
It's also about looking at rap as literature. If I put Wu-Tang lyrics on a page, you know, I'll give you a line, for example. Inspector Deck has this line where he says, I sold bottles of sorrow, then chose poems and novels. Because he came from a background where he was involved in drugs, right? He could have just said, I sold drugs, you know, I sold drugs. It would have been so easy to say that one line. Instead, he said, I sold bottles of sorrow, then chose poems and novels, right? And so it's also about, for us, analysing rap as literature, seeing what the best hip-hop music has to teach the world, using these metaphors and lyrics and assonance and sibilance and all of the linguistic techniques and characteristics that a good poet or a good novelist would use are present in the best hip-hop. And so using hip-hop as a vehicle for education and for artistic excellence.
All I want is your hearts, they can keep the charts, all I want is your hearts. Call it black radio, don't make me laugh. So is black music all about tits and arse? They don't represent nothing, they're just pretending. When was the last time they ever played Hendrix or Miles Davis or John Coltrane or Ella Fitzgerald or Billie Holiday? We can call it urban, to me that's cool. With urban means street, that includes jazz too. Rock for that matter, go ask Mick Jagger or Jimmy Page what they were listening to, the blues.
Most young boys I know are angry. Now, if you grow up in a society with issues of class and race and whatever else, you're going to be extra angry. Understanding those issues, it does make you angry, but it also gives you some understanding of how to use that anger. So I try to put across this message of knowledge and education in a way that people like me, coming from the kind of background I would come from, would want to relate to and want to be like. You do what little bit you can. I'm under no illusion that, you know, I'm going to change the world. You grow out of that once you become an adult and you realize it's not going to happen. But you can do your little bit and your little, just your little contribution to what you believe in. And I genuinely believe that human beings have the capacity to create a more just world than the one we currently live in.
Just to be alive and be like no one else. And the sheer weight of the thought of space is enough to keep my little ego in place. All that we chase and try to replace. All along, it was right in our face. The only way we could ever change anything. Look in the mirror and to find no enemy. The only way we could ever change anything. Look in the mirror and to find no enemy.
Our Dewarist collaborators today have little in common, except for their themes.
And my name is Piyush Mishra.
Hey, how you doing? I've heard so much about you, sir.
I am same here. And I was expecting a huge person with 6 feet height and
Yeah, really?
hefty.
How come they told you I was taller than I am?
They never told you about your structure.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking,
You thought I was a big guy.
Akala matlab the Akala.
Have you been to the Andamans before?
No, never. This was the first time. And you?
Your first time.
It's my first time in India. Reminds me of Jamaica a lot, like the hills, the green, lush greenery. You could literally be in Jamaica right now and you wouldn't know the difference.
Really?
Yeah.
So after coming here, I am finding it not a mere picnic spot.
Right.
It has something else to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have any thoughts or ideas on like lyrics or?
Yeah, absolutely. I like the idea of something being bigger than the sum of its parts, you know. So you bring kind of the political satire that Piyush has.
Right.
You bring the kind of stuff that I've done, but you create something new that neither of us would probably do separately.
Our two lyricists will pitch ideas and rhymes into a song. This promises to be a very exciting collaboration. We are on our way to Kalapani, also known as the Cellular Jail. While en route, Akala decides to teach Piyush some of his trade secrets.
The hardest one I've seen though is red lorry, yellow lorry, 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 red lorry, red lorry, yellow lorry, red lorry, yellow lorry, but you have to say it really fast.
Red lorry, yellow lorry,
Or these are good exercises for a rapper as well, for the tongue twister.
The name Cellular Jail is derived from its unique feature of having 693 cells, each one measuring 13.6 inches times 7.6 inches.
The Cellular Jail is an expansive brick-walled space that once held Indian revolutionaries jailed by British imperialists. Behind every stunning vista lies a story of some magnitude. It was shut down in the late 1930s, but not before it played its part in fueling a nation to rise against its oppressors. And the story of one freedom fighter stands out, that of Veer Savarkar.
This is Savarkar. Who's the person who got escaped from this jail and the person who reached the shore of Bombay. He got escaped from this land.
And he was the only one.
He was the only one and he was survivor.
I went to Robben Island before, where Nelson Mandela was in prison. Robben Island is such a beautiful location. It's an island off the coast of Southern Africa, just like this is an island off the coast. And then it was used by the same people to build prison. It's a strange feeling coming to places like this because, I mean, they're inherently tools of injustice. You can feel a certain energy, but you don't really get a sense of quite the scale of the injustice or the suffering of the people who were put in these cells. It's easy to romanticize revolution. It's easy to romanticize freedom fighters and martyrs and people who fought to make the world a better place. But the reality of being in that is very ugly. Yeah, I wouldn't look forward to spending 10 years in here.
Nor would I.
अभी तक लग रहा था कि यहाँ पर मस्ती करने आए हैं. अभी नहीं लग रहा. मैंने कभी सोचा नहीं था कि मैं कभी अंडमान जेल देखने आऊँगा. ये फांसीगर वो है गैलोस हाउस जहाँ पर बहुत सारे उन कैरेक्टर्स को फांसी लगी होगी जो कि मैंने लिखे थे. वो कहाँ पर कैद थे आज की तारीख में मालूम. तो तकलीफ तो होगी.
Both Akala and Piyush have this intense interest in history and revolutionaries and people who have, you know, paved the way for the way that we live now. And I definitely think since they're just starting to work on the song and just starting to get into what it is that they want to say, I think coming to the jail and understanding, you know, the history of this island is definitely going to impact the song that they write and their collaboration.
The nature of the islands has influenced Akala and Piyush in both subtle and overt ways. Its history finds a theme in their lyrics, and the island's simple nature is reflected in the uncomplicated tune. Joining Piyush and Akala are their two producers, Amit Gilam from Indian Ocean, a multi-instrumentalist and formidable percussionist, and Prashant Mistry, a member of a UK-based dubstep collective called the Engineers Experiment. Together, they're about to bring an anthem alive.
ये बजा रहे हो ना प्यू का ना 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 उसके बाद
अंडमान जेल में जब मैंने देखे अपनी आंखों से कि ये लोग यहाँ रहे होंगे जिनके बारे में मैं लिख चुका हूँ अपने प्ले में, तो ऑब्वियसली उससे इंस्पिरेशन मिली कि क्या सोच कर गए थे ये लोग और क्या हमको क्या वो आज़ादी मिली.
The effect of both of their styles on each respective culture is very similar actually, and the key is they both realise they're from a very similar line of storytelling.
अरे मुल्क के ले ली भैया ऐसे तैयब मानी अंधेर हुई और जौबड़ राजा रानी.
What I'd like to do is, if I know exactly what he's saying, I have a rough translation. Okay. I know we've discussed the concept, but I think it would be even tighter if it's locked in and I can pick up from where you leave off, fill in some narrative, then he comes back in like that through the song might be quite nice.
और नगरी तो अंधेर हुई आपकी. The whole नगरी has gone into darkness. It is spoiled. Yeah. And Chopper Raja Rani and Raja Rani, King and Queen, they have gone bonkers.
What Piyush does is a lot of political satire in this. It sounds happy, but actually what he's saying is very ironic, and he's sort of poking fun at the state of things and the state of the nation and political corruption and things like that.
He's great at finding a non-invasive way of being political, making you think about things while not shoving it down your throat. And I think the sugarcoating of humor is a very effective one.
Ouch is just a hook line.
It's a hook line. At this point, we change into this kind of instrument and change the track of the song.
We're not approaching this like a 3-minute pop song, you know. We're approaching it like a piece, you know, a movement piece that tells a story and has an opinion. Every time he gives me the ooh, ah, ouch, because he's given a different take each verse.
Piyush came with his lyrics first, questioning the state, but not aggressively questioning the state because he doesn't want to get hurt.
I'm getting maybe a little more irritable.
And so I'm responding from the perspective of the state, justifying my own corruption, my own greed, as if I was the king or any kind of elitist group from any time throughout history, justifying my existence.
काफ़ी कुछ चीज़ें जो मैंने सोची नहीं थी गाने में जब कंपोज कर रहा था, क्योंकि मैं अकेला कर रहा था. तो मैं अकाला, अमित किलम एंड द जेंटलमैन कॉल्ड प्रशांत, इनके कंट्रीब्यूशन से आज गाना कुछ और ही हो गया है. बुंदेलो हर बोलो के मुंह हमने सुनी कहानी, एक नगरी में रहते थे भाई ऐसे राजा रानी. बुंदेलो हर बोलो.
I got to watch Piyush in front of the mic, and I saw a lot of that theatrical energy in him. There's that element of humor in everything that he does.
राजा को तो टीम टाम में आता था मजा और रानी को जूड़ा बिंदी का.
पीयूष भाई सेकंड लाइन को थोड़ा बदलोगे? अरे राजा को तो टीम टाम में आता था मजा और रानी को ना ना ना. थोड़ा सा बदल के गा दो इसको. चल.
और राजा को तो टीम टाम में आता था मजा और रानी को जूड़ा बिंदी का ऐसा रोग लगा. ये क्यों कर रहे हो रिकॉर्ड? फाइनल रिकॉर्डिंग है? हाँ.
Piyush has just finished his vocal track, and halfway through singing he realized that this was a final vocal track, and then he suddenly panicked. He said, "अरे यार तुम लोग तो बताया क्यों नहीं यार तुम लोगों ने यार ये final है तुम." And of course in his own style. हाँ?
फिर तो यार शुरू से करो. मुझे नहीं मालूम था, तुम्हारी कसम.
Welcome to Andaman. Then we had to redo the whole thing for him. But so Piyush is finished, has done his the body of the vocals that he's about to say.
I know better than any veteran. No one ever thought about with the regiment. I am so better. My songwriting process usually, I have a bit more time. I'll listen to a beat. If I really like the beat, then I'll just walk around the room essentially for like half an hour. So I only had one evening to write the verses and record them. So I made some notes. I didn't write the whole lyrics out, but I made some little jotted notes so that it would be easier to record them.
Akala doesn't even write them down, you know, in sentence format. It's almost like his own version of a shorthand. He just writes words that pinpoint his ideas, and he flows.
Now, we found the polite melodies. We found, you know, a middle ground for them both to work together. So now it's about turning it into something that really feels passionate and grabs people.
Turn the beat down. In my headphones, the beat's too loud. The beat's too loud. Now a bit louder. There we go. Now a bit down in between where you had it and where it is now. Okay.
Piyush is playing the funny guy,
Yo.
so as to say. And
come along, everybody follow me. I can't see the wood from the trees. I'm still better.
I can just catch the body. Movement.
I'm so benevolent, I let you benefit. For my rule, everybody see the evidence. All of the people praising my pictures as if I was the deity from the scriptures. There's two lines I don't like though. All of the people. It just needs to be people praising my pictures. Like I'm the deity from the scriptures.
Give you a breath.
Praise. Yeah.
Be the cocky prince king guy.
Come along, everybody follow me. Though I can't see the wood from the trees, I'm still better than any veteran. Though I never ever did battle in a regiment, I am so benevolent, I let you benefit. For my rules, everyone see the evidence.
Wow, बहुत.
No, thank you.
बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत.
No, thank you.
अबे बहुत कमाल यार तू कमाल है.
But it's in response to what you were saying, so now it's like you're as a kind of satire making fun of the state.
Yeah.
And I'm responding as if I'm the state, you know.
Yeah.
Don't criticize me. I'm the state. Look, I'm wonderful. You shouldn't resist, you know. So I was inspired by the things that you said as well. There was some real clever stuff.
तू ही रह जा इंडिया में.
My communication with Piyush has evolved since we met. We connected, and also we've had some conversations politically. We visited the jail, and so now we have a bond. And so we've written a whole song, which the lyrics are very coherent. Made a lot of progress. The song has taken some shape and some structure from the ideas we put down. Piyush recorded his vocals, I recorded my vocals. We now got to go back and do an hour or so or two on the arrangement with Amit and Prashant. It's been great today also.
अपना मानना है कि म्यूजिक जो है हमेशा बहुत ही मस्त माहौल में होता है और मुझे लग रहा है कि आपका गाना अच्छा होना चाहिए क्योंकि इन लोगों का मजेदार कंट्रीब्यूशन है. कोई भी बेसुदा मुंह से काम नहीं कर रहा, कोई भी ये सोच काम नहीं कर रहा कि यार क्या होगा क्या नहीं होगा. Nobody is bothering. सबको मालूम है कि रिजल्ट अच्छा होगा, बस हंसते रहो.
When we start our Dewarist journey, we're never sure where the road will take us. The destination is more than the song we create. It's the words we found along the way, the story they strung together, and the spirit we found on its completion.
बुंदेले हर बोलों के मुंह हमने सुनी कहानी. एक नगरी में रहते थे भई ऐसे राजा रानी. बुंदेले हर बोलों के मुंह हमने सुनी कहानी. एक नगरी में रहते थे भई ऐसे राजा रानी. अरे मुल्क की ले ली भैया ऐसे थे अभिमानी. नगरी तो अंधेर हुई और चौबड़ राजा रानी. राजा को तो चढ़ा हुआ था बोतल का नशा और रानी सच में झूम रही ना होश न हवा. राजा को तो चढ़ा हुआ था बोतल का नशा और रानी सच में झूम रही ना होश न हवा. दाने दाने अरे दाने दाने अरे दाने दाने हाय हाय दाने 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 बिखर गए और खाने वाले साले जुट.
Come along, everybody follow me. Though I can't see the wood from the trees, I'm still better than any veteran. Though I never ever did battle in a regiment, I am so benevolent, I let you benefit. From my rules, everyone see the evidence. People praising my pictures as if I was the deity from the scriptures. Everybody loves me, you should know this. It's not because I got an army of soldiers ready to blow this at any given moment. If you disagree with my vultures, ready to blow this at any given moment. If you disagree with my vultures, ready to blow this at any given moment. If you disagree with my vultures.
दो पैसे की भाजी मिलती है अस्सी में. कुत्ता होगा जो बोलेगा हाय रे मेरी दैया. दो पैसे की भाजी साली मिलती है अस्सी में. कुत्ता होगा जो बोलेगा हाय रे मेरी दैया. लूट मची है हर कूचे में लूट लाट के भाग ले भैया. पकड़ा जाएगा बोलेगा आउच शहर में उड़ते कौवे गद्दी पे बैठे चौवे राज करेंगे या काटेंगे बाल रे तेरे भैया गंजा होके चिल्लाएगा शीशा तुझ पे थूकेगा और तू बोलेगा दादा भैया ओ आ आउट बोलेगा ओ आ आउट बोलेगा ओ आ
Did I say vultures? I meant taxman, excuse me. I shouldn't speak so rudely. The gods choose who's born to rule you. What is a nation without a few who take wealth for themselves, living in castles while you were living in slums? Still you would cheer when I get near. Everybody wants some. Go and beat their drums and have fun. I am the one you can't do without like the sun. Need someone to live lavish in a palace. So everybody imagine that they have it. It's a habit you would damage. You're living for the malice of people like me. But if I vanish, another one will come but less handsome. So just submit to my ransom.
अफसर मारे छीके पुलिस को हो गई खांसी टैक्स भरे जो रेगुलरली उसको हो गई फांसी अफसर मारे छीके पुलिस को हो गई खांसी टैक्स भरे जो रेगुलरली उसको हो गई फांसी 2G 3G LPG तो होते जाए महंगे ऊपर वाली सीट पे बैठे अंधे काने भैंगे खत्म तभी ये होगी क्या ये जर्नी अंधी भैरी खत्म तभी ये होगी क्या ये जर्नी अंधी भैरी के बन जाएगा प्राइम मिनिस्टर टॉम डिकी या हैरी पै 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 पै
Resist me. No doubt you will go down in history. People would teach you and preach your slogans. Put your face on their t-shirts and posters. Put your grill on the nation's bills. But reject the reasons you were killed. You could die for this nation. But from the grave you will realize that they're not grateful. It's not that they hate you, just they're lazy and don't really care what they came through. So why sacrifice your life? You're a smart guy, everybody's bought for a price. You can be one of us if you try. All you gotta learn to do is turn a blind eye. Or just smile when the people die. Go run along, get your shirt and your tie.
फटा पजामा लेके घूमेगा गलियों में फटा पजामा लेके भैया घूमेगा गलियों में मेरा हिंदुस्तान संभाले गांधी जी की नैया चाचा नेहरू कौन भगत सिंह होते जाए मोहन भगत सिंह है तेरे की पैंट दी टिक्की
How do we learn to take back all the things that we lost on the way that the world is what we made that? If there's change, better learn to create that. How do we learn to take back all the things that we lost on the way that the world is what we made that? If there's change, better learn to create that. The vultures come to get you. The world is run by select few. It's just more hoops to step through. Pennies worth what a pound will get you. The vultures come to get you. The world is run by select few. It's just more hoops to step through. Pennies worth what a pound will get you.
Piyush and Akala both have, in very different ways, they draw a lot of inspiration from their knowledge of freedom fighters and revolutionaries. So it's been quite interesting for me to be here with them.
It was great to work with Piyush. I mean, we have many similar ideologies, you know, about the world and the way things are and corruption and these things. So it was easy for us to agree on a sort of topic to write about. Because when he was explaining to me in English what he was saying, it was so poetic, and it's almost like the listening to it in another language, it retained some of the mystery for me. It was an honor, to be honest. It was great.
और जो मुझे लग रहा था कि मेरी अंग्रेजी बड़ी माशाल्लाह है, I was able to communicate myself very well to Akala. इससे मालूम होता है कि language is no bar. If you want to express, वो थिएटर की लैंग्वेज कहते हैं कि मूक और बघेर भी जो है अपने आप को ढंग से एक्सप्रेस कर सकते हैं अगर बिल्कुल क्लीन हार्टेड हो.
We arrived here today in Chennai. I'm really excited because it's in Shire and Funk's collaboration with La Pongo.
Music is all up here. I can hear the bass kick and play music in my head. Yesterday, Randolph was playing lots of electronic music. We were exchanging ideas. Now, it's the other way around. We're all in a very level ground.
You're making money from what you love doing. Even though it takes time, patience just pays off, whether people accept you or not. If you love doing something, you just keep at it, you know?